You know, there's a lot of issues around this pandemic that are in danger of being overlooked. A recent survey found that more than half of Americans say stress over this crisis has taken a toll on their mental health. And are people taking that seriously enough, Sarah, do you think?
I think I will know down the road, like everything else. I know that for myself, I deal with some mental health issues. I haven't checked in enough on myself. Ginger Z quoted or wrote something the other day that caught my eye. She wrote on Instagram, "I wake up some mornings still and I see the darkness. I feel it slow creep like blinds on the window on a timer, slowly closing, trying to make me spiral down." And this was a reminder for everyone out there, especially people who may be delicate or struggle with these things, to check on themselves and make sure they're putting their air mask on first. Because the first things that therapists and medical professionals will tell you as people that battle these things is you need to make sure you're getting sleep, you're eating well, and you're exercising. Those are very tough things right now. Sleep, a lot of people are struggling due to stress. I know for us, we're having some sleep regressions with the children. Eating is another form of self-medicating, and when you're kind of buckled down and not putting on real clothes, a lot of us are falling into bad eating habits. And exercise is tough to do when you're stuck inside. So one thing I would say is that I think the people most at risk right now are people that are isolated and going through this alone. I also think people that struggle with addiction are struggling. So I don't have an answer for all of this, but I do think it's important to check in with yourself and remember to check on people around you, because oftentimes when we need help is the time we stop reaching out for people. So make sure to check in on people and make sure we're making those phone calls and those FaceTimes. And you know, you got to self-advocate right now because we're stuck right now.
Right.
So I hope that people are attending to this to the level they need to.
Yeah, and there's another alarming statistic you want to shine a light on, Megan?
Yeah, I mean, I said it in the last segment that suicide hotlines are raging out of control, and the national one had a 1,000% spike last month. And we're seeing spikes in child and spousal abuse numbers. We're seeing spikes, as Sarah just mentioned, in overdoses of all kinds, specifically opioid. It's sort of echoing after the auto factories in Detroit went under. There were huge spikes then in those towns of opioid addicts. And I think the problem right now is, at least I feel like, there really doesn't seem to be much hope of pulling out of this. Every time I feel like we have hit a number and hit a buffer of a date where possibly we can re-enter society and do the things that keep us mentally healthy and normal, as you said and pointed out, Sarah, eating healthy and exercising are two vitally important things. And I know for me, I'm struggling with both of those things as well. And I think part of the problem is, especially as a millennial, we have just been royally screwed over and over and over again for the past 10 years. And it seems like every time we're getting on our feet in one way or another, there's just another catastrophe. And it's very disheartening. And I think for a lot of people right now, it just doesn't look terribly hopeful. And I think that's going to play into, obviously, the mental and emotional health of the country.
Well, speaking about that, let me just say, you know what? Everybody out there, this is not unending. You know, we're not used to having to be patient. We're not used to getting stuff done in time. So there is a push to get stuff done. There is light at the end of this tunnel. There are better things ahead. This is not the end. We're not going out like this, okay? We're not. Because we are human beings. And there's stuff we're going to have to deal with, and we got to do it. People keep saying together, but that means you actually have to reach out to other people. We cannot fall into despair, because if we fall into despair, there are no ladders in the hole of despair. There is only light at the top when you're moving forward, okay?